Hello students, this is going to be your tutorial on how to create a exploded view of your assembly. So after you've completed your exploded view and after you've completed your assembly and there are no missing constraints, you can't grab and drag any parts and they don't move, it's fully constrained, then you're ready to move on to an exploded view. This can be done before or after you render it, it doesn't really matter. So to create a exploded view, what we're going to do is we're going to create a new file. So we're going to go to our application menu, we're going to go to new, and we're going to go down to a presentation file. This will create an exploded projection of our assembly. We're going to go ahead and hit create. First thing we're going to do here is you can see a graphics window. We are going to click create view. And then under the file, we want to make sure we open up, we use this little button over here, and we open up and we look for where we had our racer. So remember, where you should have your racer is on your U drive, a folder, and then click racer. We're going to click open. And then under the explosion, right now we're going to click it manually. You want to manually explode it. Automatic doesn't work very well, especially when it has a lot of parts. So we're going to do a manual explosion. We're going to hit OK. And it brings in our piece. So it looks exactly like what it had before, but now we're actually going to explode, which means dragging parts away and watching how they come together. This is going to be a kind of a trial and error process for you to make sure parts don't intersect, they don't go through parts, and you explode them correctly. So the first thing up on the top here to start to explode parts is going to be tweak components. So you're going to click tweak components, and you're going to see here that there are three things to choose. Well, first we want to choose a component in which to take off. So we're going to click the second arrow, which is components, and for us you usually want to start with a component that's not in the way of a lot of other components you can quickly get out of the way. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit here, and I'm going to choose this component. I'm going to use the front spoiler. So after I chose this component, I'm going to select direction. And now I can go ahead and I can select which direction I want to pull it out from. So if I go ahead and click, say, this face, I have a Y, an X, and a Z. Whichever one is blue is the way it's going to go once you start pulling it. So I want to pull it away from the body in the front, so I want it to be Z. So now I'm just going to go ahead and grab it. I'm going to pull it away a little bit. If you look here, it creates a component trail. So these are trail origins, or just component trails. So the part came from here to right there. Once I am done with a piece, then I want to go ahead and I want to close it. So I'm done with that piece. Then I'm going to go back to tweak components, and I'm going to tweak another component. So what I'll do is after I did that, I'm going to go ahead and take the hood off. So I'm going to go components, I'm going to select the hood, direction, and I think a good place for this to be taken off would be go straight up. If I go to the straight again, I'm actually going to go through my axle and my wheels, and I don't want to go that way. And I don't want to go down because I'll go through my chassis. So I'm going to select the top, and the direction I want to go right now is the Z, and the Z is selected. So then I'm just going to go ahead and grab the component and lift them. Alright, now this will happen sometimes if you look. That means you accidentally grabbed another component, and we don't want that. So if something like this happens, we can just go ahead and clear the selection, and we can undo this. So you can just go undo up here, or you can go Control Z. So we're going to try it again. We'll go tweak components. The component we want is right here. The direction, we're going to select this top, and then we're going to do that again. Now it keeps grabbing this. I'm not sure why. Go tweak components, component, direction, and we can just drag it right up there. So drag it right up. You can see that my wheel and axle are still there, so my hood is right there. So I'm going to go ahead and close. I'm going to tweak components again, and now I'm going to disassemble my wheels. So I'll go component, my wheel, direction. It's going to be here. I want it to come out the Z, so then I can just go ahead and I can pull it out. Once again, components here, direction. Now I can kind of move this guy around, and I want it to be here, and there's my Z, so I'm just going to pull him Now you can see it actually grabbed the other component too. So once again, you can see how this is kind of a trial and error process to make sure you don't select other parts. So I'll go tweak components. Just make sure I click there. Direction, the Z, pull him out. So I've got that. And now my axle. I'll go ahead and I'll close that. Tweak components. I will grab the axle. And I'm going to pull the axle to one of the other sides. If I go straight, what might happen is it might go through this through the front hood when it comes together. So then the direction, just going to go ahead and grab it, and I'll move it off to the side here. I could probably go either way, but I'll just go this way. Close that. There is a shortcut for tweak components. If you click T, or you click T on the keyboard, you can just bring that up, and it actually becomes a lot easier. So now I'll go ahead and I'll grab this component. Direction, and this time I want it to be Y, so I'm going to switch it to Y, and I'm just going to go ahead and move this guy out here, close, tweak components, here, I'm going to go Y again, and drag this out, close again, tweak components, I'm going to grab the spoiler, and go up, I'm going to grab the X, and I'll move the X back here. Just got to make sure you grab the piece. I'm also going to go ahead and tweak components, X again, and grab this other one here. I will grab this piece, switch it to Y. That can go up. Grab here, make sure it's Z. Bring it up a little bit. Tweak. I'll grab now the wheel. Bring it out over here. Components. And I'll grab this axle and bring it out there. So now I have created my exploded view. And here it is. I'm going to go ahead and close that. And it's all exploded, what it looks like. Then I'm going to go ahead and animate it. And what will happen is you can switch a few of these. You can play around with these to see how this works. But you can go ahead and hit play, and you can actually watch your exploded view return back to normal. So you can see the axle folds back in place. My wheel comes here. My hood should come right on top. After the hood, the cockpit will come down. My two rear stabilizers for the rear spoiler will slide into place. My two side rails will also come in. After the side rails, my axle will come in with my wheels, my hood, and my spoiler. And then I'll have a exploded view. So there's my exploded view. I can just go ahead and reset that. I can hit cancel. There's my exploded view. Now I'm going to go ahead and file save as. And I'm going to save this as my racer, or my exploded racer. Go ahead and hit save. So now I've got my exploded racer. The next thing you're going to go ahead and do is actually place in your rendered image, your exploded image. We're going to show how to do a parts list and also the rest of your drawings to make a complete set working drawing.